this computer. Wait till it starts going. Okay. I believe we're good now. Every one of my videos is going to start like that because I always want to make sure. But hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Strong Like Training, hosted by me, Shelby, coach, fitness instructor, all those fun things, nutrition education person. Today I am hanging out with Rebecca Rigg. She is a trainer at one of the many Lifetime clubs in Minnesota. I can't say the Lifetime club in Minnesota. 12, I'm pretty sure, up that direction. But Becca is a coach there and also was previously an athlete there, which is super cool. So she's going to give us a little insight into how she's transitioned from being a client into deciding that she wanted to pursue fitness as her career as well. So welcome, Becca. Glad to have you.
Thank you. So excited to be here.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about just your journey and how you started. I mean, I don't know all the details. I know we've talked about it some, but how, obviously you started as a client and then now you're working for Lifetime, which is super cool. And that's how we connected. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I came to Minnesota, didn't know anybody. We just moved here from Mexico and I had just had my 5th child. And so I was looking to lose the weight from, the baby weight for my pregnancy and just looking to connect with some people. And so but I have tried to lose weight, after every pregnancy, it gets harder and harder. And I got to the point where I was really good at losing weight, but I could never keep it off. I would do the crash diets, I would do the fad diet, I would buy the diet pills, I bought all the diets, right? And they worked, and I would woohoo, I'm down to my pre-pregnancy pants, and I never lasted longer than 3 months, ever. I could never hold on to that. And so when I went to Lifetime, I was I want to not just lose weight. I want to actually change my body. And I had never ever in my life seen muscles on my body. I had gotten skinny, but I had never had muscle tone. And so I was walking to Lifetime, I see people looking the way I want to look, and I'm you know what, there's something here, and so I was if I'm going to do this, I need to get help, because I had, I said, I bought every infomercial, and I was I need professional help. So I bit the bullet and I finally hired a trainer, and I think that in the beginning I just never felt justified in investing that much money in myself because I have 5 kids. So I was gosh, I could need money for them to go on a field trip or do a special activity, or they could get braces, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it was do I deserve to give that to myself? And I was yeah, it's time.
Yeah.
It had been 11 years of me being either pregnant or nursing, and my body never being mine. Yeah. And I was I'm ready to kind of get in control of this and invest in myself. And so I did that. I hired a trainer, and she was also a nutritionist, similar to you. And so she just, introduced me to, I'd always done aerobics videos. I was, because that's the infomercials, Beachbody and the Taibo and all the.
And you feel good because you're sweating a ton. And so you're this is definitely doing it, right? This is it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So I was that was my jam before. And I'd never touched a barbell. I'd never lifted anything heavier than the 5-pound weights that come with your workout video, Yep. And so my trainer, she takes me out there and, she introduces me to weights. And it was just this instant new love for me. I just fell in love immediately. And it was a feeling I'd never felt. I'd always focused on being skinny, on losing weight. And it was all of a sudden we were focusing on getting stronger, and so that was just whoa, I love this. And it wasn't about taking away foods from me. She was you just need to get more protein. And I'd never ever thought about protein in my diet before. I probably averaged about 30 grams of protein a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy crap. That's not enough, in case you're wondering. That's why I'm having that reaction.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I had no idea. It was in the morning I would have cold cereal, and for lunch I would have, mac and cheese and maybe a PBJ. And then for dinner I would have some sort of pasta, maybe with a little bit of meat. But there was that was it. There was no,
yeah,
standard American diet, And so, it was just everything that she taught me now is just to us, it's oh yeah, that's just, everyone knows that, right?
Yeah.
But I was so clueless to all of that. And so she worked with me and kind of, baby steps, this is protein you should be getting. She encouraged me to get at least 100 plus grams a day. of protein. And, we started lifting heavier. And for the first time in my life, I saw muscles on my body. Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh. And so that was really cool, just to be able to finally see that body composition change, and to do it in a way where I had more energy. I wasn't depriving myself.
Yeah.
I wasn't, it was just a really cool thing. So that's kind of that knowledge bombs that she dropped on me. I was like, I have to share that with people.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, there's so many people like me who have no idea.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of when I decided, I'm going to go get my NASM certification. I'm going to become a certified trainer, and I'm going to like pay it forward, because it had just been so impactful to me. I was like, I got to share this.
Yeah. Yeah. And so tell me a little bit about that process of your interview. So you didn't interview at the club that you were training at, right? It was a different club, or was it the same club?
It was the same club. Yeah.
Okay. And so, I mean, obviously you knew some people there, but just tell me a little bit about that. I mean, obviously you don't have to go into detail of like, this was this interview and everything, but
right.
How did that all happen?
Yeah. So actually, I transitioned. I kept my first trainer as a nutritionist,
Mm-hmm.
and then I hired another trainer for my strength trainer. And so she kept me on, my food plan, and then he started helping me with strength. And he's the one actually who was like, you'd be an amazing trainer. He's like, you have all the people skills. He's like, we can work on your, getting you the knowledge skills.
Yeah.
Right. And so I was like, okay, that sounds awesome. And so I actually started shadowing him first before I even applied or anything.
Cool.
And so I got my NASM stuff. I was studying for that, but then I was shadowing him, and it was really, I'm glad he made me do that. Like, he made me shadow like a full 8-hour day. And I was like dead. I was like, this is so, and I wasn't even doing what I was shadowing him.
Yeah.
And I was like, are we going to stop and eat at some point,
Right. Yeah.
So it was like, he wanted me to come into it with eyes wide open.
Yeah.
And so it was really good for me to see that, but there was more of what I loved about it, than it was very physically demanding. But it was also just every hour you're with a different person, and you're having different energy brought into your day. There was no monotony to it. It was so fresh. It was so every person left his session lifted. And I was like, oh, I want to do that. So anyway, so I shadowed with him, and then talked to the PTM over there, and she kind of told me the interview process. And I took it very, very seriously. I was just like, I want to come in here. I want to wow them. I want to, do my best. So I wasn't just like, well, I'm a shoo-in because everyone knows me at this club. No, I took it really seriously, and, got my resume looking all shiny and fresh, and got my stories that I wanted to tell. And I went in there, and just, I think they appreciated that I came in there taking it really seriously. And also that I had, I did get my certification in 8 weeks, which is pretty fast for that certification.
Yeah.
And so they knew I was serious. I was like, yeah, when I put my mind to something, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go all in and do it. So.
Yeah. And this is just so that anyone who's watching this, because obviously I work at Lifetime, I'm an assistant manager in the PT department. Becca is a frontline trainer and small group training coach in our SGT program, again, at a club in Minnesota. So we're in very different areas, but Lifetime Everywhere is a game changer, I would say, in the fitness industry. I've worked at many gyms before Lifetime, and the biggest thing I saw was, like you said, you took it very seriously. And that's what Lifetime tries to do, is really show that we are professionals in the field. And it's not just, okay, great, you've got a certification, cool, start finding your own clients, 3, 2, 1, go. There's an entire process. And I've seen it change even in the 3 years I've been with Lifetime, or almost 3 years, that you go through multiple interviews. You have to show what you've got, right? It's not just how do you look dressed up and how does your resume look, but how do you actually perform on the floor? And you've got to sit in front of a general manager, which is a big deal, I think. And then after you actually get hired, it's not go do whatever you want. It's like, no, you're going to learn Lifetime. You're going to learn how Lifetime does things, and you're going to go through a certification essentially with Lifetime to show you how to be a professional, which I think is a big piece that a lot of gyms don't necessarily do. And it's, again, Lifetime's huge, so we've got the ability to do that, but I think it helps, and I would say I wish that was my first gym experience in terms of being a coach, because I've watched you, learn at Lifetime and become a professional very quickly, because the people that Lifetime hires are the ones who are hungry and want to get better and want to lift their clients every single hour and want to put in the hard work. And if you don't want to do that, you don't make it at Lifetime, which I've seen happen too, is people think they can just come in and then people are just going to want to train with them, or they can just walk up and someone's going to walk up and say, hey, I want a trainer. Can you train me? And it's like, that's typically not it. You got to show people what you got. So again, that's just a side note, so that if you are in the fitness industry and looking for a full-time job, that Lifetime is the best I've seen, at least in the Southeast, as far as having that professionalism and giving you a full-time career as a trainer or, coach, whatever you want to call yourself. But super cool. So I know you mentioned it. You're a mama of 5 babies.
5. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. I have no idea what that's like. I have no kiddos. I've got a puppy who likes to sleep, and she does demand some time, but not nearly as much. So tell me a little bit about how you're staying sane on a daily basis as a mama of 5. Biggest tips to getting it all done, and maybe just a snip into like what a day looks like for you typically.
Yeah.
Obviously we're in the middle of a quarantine. So let's say, typical day when you're working at Lifetime and dealing with your 5 kiddos, being in school, juggling all that.
Okay. So I would say the number one thing is making like a sacred hour for myself every day, because the minute like they are out of bed, it is, everything I have is for them, because it's like 5 people and 5 schedules to manage, 5 different people who have homework assignments due and deadlines and dentist appointments and doctor's appointments. And you're managing all these schedules in your head and making sure they're fed and that their clothes fit them and they haven't outgrown them. And, there's just like so many things to juggle. And so I think a lot of, and myself, this happened to me, before, you get lost in motherhood if you don't like carve out and protect a sacred hour for yourself. Yeah. And so that's my workout. And I don't look at it as selfish at all. I look at it as this is my investment so that I can give to them. Yeah. It's to put your oxygen mask on before everybody else.
You've got to.
Yeah. So I would say like whenever, like put that first in your schedule. So like put in your hour, whatever it is for you. For me, it's that workout, and then build around that so that, because it's so easy to just like, okay, I got to fit this piece in, and then where's the room for my me time? Yeah. And so put your me time in first, and then I think you won't resent all the things that you have to do for everybody else, because you'll be like, I filled my cup, I got stuff to give. But yeah, typical day, usually I'm up at 4 a.m. and I get to the gym at about 4:50, set up for my Metcon class, and my husband takes that class with me. So our oldest is 14, so we leave the baby monitor in her room. Yeah. And so she listens out, but it's 5 to 6, so they're usually sleeping. Yeah. So I teach my class, then hubby runs home, gets the kids all off on the bus. And then he brings the little guy to the gym, because at the gym, our Lifetime, not every location, but we have a preschool there. And so
I did not know that. Very cool. Okay.
Yeah. So that's super cool. So, and then for me, I'm pretty back to back with my clients. So I'll do, my Metcon class at 5, I have clients at 6, 7, and then at 8, that's my breakfast. So 8 o'clock, I run to the cafe, grab my Mocha Madness or whatever it is. Yeah. Yep, always. And then that's when I'll also catch up on following up on some emails or texts with clients. And then 9 o'clock client, 10 o'clock I teach another Metcon class, 11 o'clock I teach a GTX burn class, 12 o'clock I have a client, 1 o'clock client. And so then I'm done at 2, I grab my little guy from the preschool, we run home, and then my kids get home at 2:45. So it's like I've had this from 4 to 2 back-to-back day, and then I come home and everyone's full work day, and then I come home at 2:40 and it's like, Mom, I need help with my homework. Mom, what's for dinner? Can you get me some new snow pants because these ones have a hole? And so it's go jump right into my second job. But if I don't sit down, it's fine. Like the minute I sit down, I'm like,
You're
oh crap,
done.
I'm not getting back up again.
Ooh, yeah, everything just
Yes.
weighs down. Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay.
So that's kind of, and then it's dinner and then, baths and bed. They're bed by 8. And then I have to be in bed by like 9:30 to get up
Yeah,
at that hour again. And so
yeah.
so that's usually my Monday, Wednesday, Friday. On Tuesday, Thursdays, I have a lower volume of clients.
Mhm.
And those are the days where I'll program. Those are the days where I'll kind of, get ahead so
Yeah,
that I can do the back to back Monday, Wednesday, Friday type of day. But yeah, my biggest tips for, other moms that are busy like that is just like always be thinking ahead. Okay, so like on Sunday, everything I do Sunday is to prepare for Monday
yeah,
so that Monday can be smooth. And then like I try to just, live by my calendar. The minute that something, comes in, it goes in my calendar. Otherwise it goes right out,
yeah, yeah.
so
I'm
just
that way too. If I don't write
really,
it down, it does not exist.
no, it doesn't. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
So
cool.
those are the kind of things that's helped me.
Awesome, awesome. Well, yeah, I mean, that's literally 2 full-time jobs, and, I'm evening shift, so I'm opposite of you. So I don't start work till 11, and I'm there 11 to 8, but that's my morning is, I get my workout in usually prior to work, prep food for me and Stone, make sure lunches are done. I don't have to do much with Quimby. She's sitting over here sleeping as usual. So yeah, I mean, I think it's just kudos to you. It's a lot of energy that you've got to be putting in for a lot of the day, and I know my day looks very different now as a manager that I'm not back-to-back clients, but that's a lot of emotional energy to be giving 6 to 8 hours a day. And then you have to emotionally be available for your kids. So, I think it's just a cool perspective to see that it's doable with the right mindset, and it's doable with having the right things in place to make sure that they do run smoothly. Like I try to tell my coaches, don't wait till the day up to be programming for people. Like you should be programming you like a week, 2 weeks out if you can, at least, because one, you should know kind of what phases they're in, and that's a whole different subject. But and it's so much nicer when you can walk in and know that you've already got your program for everybody. Then it's just showing up and putting the energy out, right? Versus having to
Yeah.
be thinking through, what do I need to be doing next? What are we, all of those things. So super cool. So next question, kind of pivoting. I know that when you started working out more, like before, you were more into running first, right?
Mhm.
Which is
Yep.
typical because running is low entry barrier, right? You don't have
Mhm.
to have any equipment. No one really has to teach you how to do it necessarily. You just got to like keep moving. And then, you've talked about transitioning to lifting, but you still do a good bit of running. I mean, it seems like you enjoy your running and you still include
Yeah.
it. You run a couple miles. You'll do a 5-6 miles even on the treadmill, which I'm like you and I can zone out and do as many miles as I need to on the treadmill, but a lot of people hate that. So,
Right.
I want to talk a little bit about how you saw the differences in your body composition wise, switching from, more running to now you're lifting more, enjoying lifting, but also you still include your conditioning. So just tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, like you said, it was low barrier entry. I was trying to lose weight from the baby, and I was like, I'll just keep running. Ended up running, a marathon and then 2 marathons. But it was really, really hard on my body, first of all. And the other funny thing was when I was running, I was like, I'm running marathons. I'm running like 26 miles, and like, why am I not? Why is my body not looking the way that I imagined it would look from all that running? And because what happened is, yeah, I did lose weight, but I was very doughy. Like is the best way to describe it. Like my
I
body
love
was
that word, doughy.
doughy. I mean, I'm like, I'm just so doughy still. And because that's all I did was running. I did zero cross training, and so I just hadn't discovered resistance training and strength training. And so I would say the biggest, but I did love running. Like
Yeah,
it's very fulfilling. There's like a true runner's high that I get,
yeah,
and so it feels really good, and it's nice to just, be out and in nature and do that. And I don't mind it on the treadmill either. Like I can zone out, however, but yeah, when I brought into, resistance training into the mix, like the biggest change I saw in my body was like first time in my life having abs. like first time in my life seeing any kind of like definition in my arms. And my legs, I'm very proud of them. They're like the thick thighs save lives type of legs.
Yeah, yeah, I feel you, girl.
But like, yeah, but I love them. I'm like, I love
Yeah,
my strong legs. Like
yeah,
they're not like these noodly legs. And so I don't know. For me, every body type is different. And with the genes that I've been given, I feel like running could not get my body to where I wanted it to be personally, right?
yeah.
And it was the strength training that brought it to that, you know, look that I was really hoping to achieve. And so, but yeah, I gotta have my running still. It's more, and I never like it's like 3 miles usually is what I run. It just feels good to get out there for 20, 30 minutes and just run. And I don't do it like competitively at all. It's just to feel good.
Yeah, yeah. And I feel like, there's a lot of people out there who think that you've got to either be a runner or you're a lifter and there's no in between, and that all lifters hate cardio and all people who run hate lifting. And it's like, if you can become that hybrid and get some of both, it's really, really a great combination for your body. I mean, you can be strong, but still have that aerobic capacity where you can walk up the stairs and not be winded, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So having both is just a really big piece. And I try to preach that to clients a lot, that you can do both, but a lot of times the tone that we're looking for in getting muscle tone means that you've got to put muscle on to begin with, and build some size, and then then we chip away, and then you're like, oh man, now I've got arms that like look like I'm fit. I mean, it's a little change, a
Yeah.
little bit of shape, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's what I was going for, right? So
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
super cool, and I think a lot of people start there. They start with running, like I said, low barrier to entry. It just allows you to not have to be intimidated by having equipment and walking into a gym, but that if you can do a little bit of both, that a lot of times that kind of gives us that desire we want. Like, I don't tell people to just lift. You got to still do stuff that's good for your heart at the end of the day.
Hmm.
So having that combination of both is awesome. So love that. Okay. So I do want to know this, just because I'm not sure exactly even when you fit your workouts in. So kind of, how have you found your favorite time to work out when you've got your super busy days and then maybe your Tuesday, Thursday days? What does that look like in terms of fitting it into that craziness?
Yeah, so on my super busy days, it's usually I don't do like a lift on those days. Like if I have a break on that day, it's usually like I said, the breakfast break around 8.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes I will do like a 20-minute lift and then go grab my shake. On those days if I feel like it. But on those days I average 20,000 steps. I'm moving my body all day, and so I don't feel like I need to do anything. But yeah, Tuesday, Thursday, I purposely put lower volume of clients on those days because I wanted like a good workout
Yeah.
on those. So Tuesday, Thursday, that's when I will either take an alpha class, or on Thursdays I train with my trainer.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I go pretty hard on those days. And then Saturday is like a day that I'll do like 2 hour, just like everything.
Have a
You know
good
what I mean? I'll
time, get it all done. Yeah.
yep,
Yeah. Very
yep,
cool.
I'll do my cardio, I'll do my lift, I'll do everything on Saturday.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. And something you mentioned that I think is also super important is you said you take an alpha class or you work with your trainer. Now, even though you are now a trainer yourself, is that you're still seeking advice, education, coaching from somebody else. And a lot
Oh
of
yeah.
people, I think, feel like they don't need to do that once they're a coach. It's like they know everything, or like, oh, I can just program for myself. But what does that give you, having somebody else do it for you?
Oh my gosh. Well, to me, it's a continued investment in my education as
Yeah.
a coach, because my trainer, he's super experienced. He's been, at Lifetime for 14 years. So he's like,
Amazing.
yeah, he's master trainer. So one, it's an investment in my education, but two, like he can push me to do things I would never do myself
Mhm.
ever. Like, but in a safe way. Like he knows when to push me and when to pull me back to keep me away from injury. And I have, that's blind spots for me that I can't see. And so
Sure.
I just like, he's the mirror there to show me, oh wait, yeah, you can go, you can do more, or you should not do more. So
Yeah.
he's really good at that. And that's why, that's important to me. And then the alpha class, like I am so extroverted. Like I just gotta be around people. And it's like,
Yes.
I just
Yes, you
love
do.
yeah, yes. And so that's where I just get a ton of energy, and like those workouts for me are so fun. And also same thing, like they'll push me in a way you know, because in an alpha class you do those just awful metcons, and it's like that's something that I would never ever do on my own ever, you
Yeah.
know. But it's like,
Yeah.
well, when everyone else is doing it, we'll do a 21, 15, 9. You know what I mean? It's just
Right.
a
Yeah.
lot easier to do that kind of stuff with other people.
Cool. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I will say that, when I lived closer to the club than I do now, I jumped into like Miguel's classes a couple times in the morning, or coach's classes in the morning. And it's like, I think I'm pushing hard, but having somebody else coach you through it and just push you in those small ways, and just, just little nudges. Like, you may know that you can do it, but sometimes you're like, oh, like, I don't feel like doing that today. But somebody being like, come on, like, throw another set of tens on there. And you're like,
Right.
okay, fine.
Yep.
So that's
Yep.
awesome. I love it. Love it. All right. So last question, kind of not really even a question, but something that I've seen you've been doing a lot during quarantine is your kids have been so into their health and fitness. And I absolutely love that. And I feel like that is a missing piece in like the American dream life, is that the parents will either be into their health and whatnot, but the kids aren't, or just nobody is. And I think it's just really cool for people to see what you are doing with that, that your girls are running, that you're going out for walks, bike rides, and all of that. So, obviously your life changed, right? Your lifestyle changed. So how did you start getting them to be excited about doing all of that stuff too?
So I think they, when you're one of 5 kids, anytime you get one-on-one time with your parent is just like golden. So it started out by making it like special time with me. Like, do you want to go on a walk with me or on a run with me? Do you want to do a little workout with me? And they were just like, yes, like one-on-one time with mom. I took she's now 11, but she was 10. I took her to an alpha class one time, and like, she was just felt so special because she was doing mom's workout, and like, of course, I'm always like with the camera. So I'm like videoing her. And she's like, oh, look at me on video. And she just felt really special.
Yeah,
and so,
awesome.
but then they also got a taste of what it feels like to do something hard, and how awesome that feels to accomplish it. And so they were just like, that was so hard and I loved it. And I was like, yes, and so I was like, yeah, isn't that the best feeling? And so I think they see how much joy and like passion I have around fitness, and they want some of that. They're like, gosh, this is like lighting mom's fire. Like, I want a piece of that. And so when I invite them, they are just like, oh, I'm being invited to something special and cool. And so, yeah, they've jumped in on it. And my 5-year-old, my kindergartner, she's a riot. You've seen her do the push-ups, right?
Oh my gosh, yes. She's awesome.
Yes. So she's 6. My 14-year-old just corrected me. She's just turned 6.
Sorry.
Yeah, 6-year-old push-ups. But she did an alpha class where it was an alpha kids class, and they challenged the kids to do a 2-minute plank. And most kids they're dropping out at 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Now my kindergartner is there like shaking and like almost crying, but she was like just determined to hit that 2-minute plank. And she did. And when she was done, she was just like, that feeling of accomplishment. Like, our kids need to feel that more of like, they need to feel what it feels like to push hard, to get uncomfortable. And then the sense of pride in yourself, like, that is something really special. And so, yeah, I've loved being able to share that with them and give that to them. And they catch, I mean, once the first few classes like that, and they're like, yeah, that feels awesome. I want to keep doing that.
Yeah. And I think it's huge. I mean, I think learning to do hard things is necessary. And I mean, I can tell you, coming from the school I went to, that they stopped doing like sports team cuts when I was transitioning like into middle school. They like weren't doing it anymore. And I didn't think about it at the time, but okay, so nobody gets cut, which means everybody's good enough. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't allow people to participate, but not being told that, hey, like, you need to work harder, I think sometimes can be, a bad lesson for kids, is that it doesn't matter. You just got to show up, and it doesn't matter what effort you put in. And it doesn't matter if you're challenging yourself, and finding ways to do that, I think, is awesome. And if it's traditional sports teams versus you're just learning to run and enjoy running, or doing workouts with mom, it's like those pieces are going to shape the way they look at life, not just their workouts. And that's what we tell adults too. But I think we sometimes forget that with kids, yes, of course we want them to have fun, but also you can teach them a couple life lessons and getting their butt kicked. I mean, I had a coach when I was 11 or so that he joked about. And I will never forget this quote that he said. And I tell people this all the time. I'm like, I was 11, like an 11-year-old female girl, just like tiny, like probably weighed like 60 pounds. And I had a coach telling me, we may not be the best team, but we're going to be the most fit team. Like that was what we were expected of. And every day after practice, we were running for 20 to 30 minutes, like sprint work and conditioning. And that was just the norm. Like I knew practice was going to suck a little bit. And I knew I just had to get through it. And I always survived. I may have disliked it, but I knew we got better. And I watched our team do really well against really good teams just because we were more fit. So then I saw the benefit of what that was doing. Okay, yeah, I did all that hard work that I didn't enjoy and it was hard and challenging, but then I saw, oh wow, like we're competing with the best teams in our league, not because, you know, necessarily our footwork was as good, but because we had worked harder, right? So I've loved seeing that, you know, and I obviously it's been happening more, I would say, since you're home. And they're running with you, which has been super cool. And, you know, doing the workouts all together in the basement together. I mean, I love it. It's super awesome. So kudos to that. And if you guys haven't seen it, I'm going to put Becca's information in the description so that you can follow her and see her and her kiddos working hard. Your husband too, obviously, he's obviously working hard too.
Yes.
So last thing we're going to do is just kind of like a quick response questions, just a couple of them to talk about, you know, I don't know. I think they're fun. And I try to tailor these to whoever I'm talking to. So just give me your first answer. Don't think about it too hard. Just pick one. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Chocolate or peanut butter?
Chocolate. That's hard because I love them both.
I've had people say like both. And I'm like, I understand if you want like a Reese cup, I get it, but I'm a chocolate first person too. So I feel that. All right. Yeah. When it comes to barbell work, cleans or snatches?
Cleans all the way.
Me too. I mean, snatches are fun. And when you get up from that bar, I mean, I get it, but clean, I think it's because you're able to go heavier. It just feels better, you know?
It just, it's so satisfying.
Yeah. And then I know your schedule's a little weird, but morning or afternoon for your workout?
Morning. I do better in the morning if I can. Yeah.
Me too. I used to be an afternoon workout person. And then when I transitioned to working that evening shift, it was like, now I can't imagine working out past like 2 p.m. I'm like, done. I'm dead to the world. Does not work. Okay. Last one. UCAN or Mocha Madness?
Mocha Madness.
I had a feeling, but had to throw it in there just because I know you can. But figured Mocha Madness was still your top choice since that's usually the shake you go to. Becca, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and just sharing a little bit about your story and your life and how you're crushing it, you know, with your own fitness and showing your kids how to be fit, happy, healthy kids. It's a super awesome, positive space to always see your stuff. And I think it needs to be shared more. So if you guys are not following Becca yet, like I said, her information will be below. She's got some Zoom classes going on as well. She is in, is it Central Time? Central Time Zone? Yep. Yeah. So as an FYI, she's in Central Time Zone. So if you see her stuff and want to jump onto her workouts, it's Central Time because I'm in Eastern Time and I totally messed up one time because of that. So, but thank you so much for sharing. And thanks so much.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, girl.